Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel where I carry on to say how hard can it be with the first challenge, which is how hard can it be to predict the championship results. So now we move on to round 25. However, before we go to our picks for the week, I'll just have a quick review of what happened in round 24. So as you can see, here are my results on the right hand side with the Superbru website, and as you can see, I didn't do very well. I only got 4 right, however one was an exact result, so I did get 3 points for that, and the other 3 actually were close results, so I got 1.5 for those. Unfortunately, all the other results were wrong. The only real saving grace on that, if I go to performance, is actually I'm going to keep a log of my position either in the Sheffield Wednesday fans group, the United Kingdom group, or the global group. And actually, by the looks of it, an awful lot of other people didn't do very well during the week either. There was an awful lot of results which didn't go the way you probably have expected. A lot of the very overall favourites, vast favourites, actually either lost or drew. Norwich, for example, were a big favourite. I'd picked 2-0 for that one. They only went to draw against QPR. Sheffield United were a very big favourite against West Brom. They only drew 1-1. Again, Blackburn against Hull. They were a big favourite and they lost against Hull. Maybe some of the others. Again, Coventry was a big home favourite. I only managed to draw 0-0 with Millwall. Oxford went as expected. Big shock result against Sunderland, who lost to Stoke. Luton, they're down from the Premier League, but that game against Swansea were a big favourite. They did go on to win though, so I did still get 1.5 points. Another shock one, really. Watford, Cardiff getting the win there, which was very unexpected. So yeah, I didn't do particularly well, as you can see. However, as it turns out, I actually went up slightly in the global rankings and the United Kingdom rankings. I will just say at this point as well, I am going to keep faith with the predictions which I did last round, i.e. from the different percentages from previous results. If nothing else, I did a quick exercise the other day where I gained confidence in that if I'd have made those predictions from the start of the season, in the global rankings out of, if I just quickly click on here, nearly 6,000 people, I would currently be in 20th place. Now, you could say that's not that much of a coincidence because I've based my predictions on previous results. So, I wouldn't have those predictions if it wasn't for those results. But nevertheless, it shows, at least to some extent, that the model for predicting the results is correct. So I'm going to stick with the system as it is at the moment. Even when, and if I just quickly go back to picks for last week, one which I wouldn't have particularly picked, using my head, was I picked 0-0 for Derby Leeds because the system says to do so. At the time, I remember in the video I'm saying, I really want to pick Leeds as a favourite here. And as it turns out, they did win. And I would have been right to, use my heart on that one and go with, Leeds win. However, they didn't actually get that equaliser until the winner until the 79th minute. It was 0-0 for a very long time. And it just shows you that, I know it ended up being a Leeds win, but it could have very easily finished 0-0 that game. So anyway, we'll move on to round 25 predictions. Okay, so now I've brought up the spreadsheet on the right, which I'm using in order to determine my predictions, which is based on the previous results and how the games have tended to go, whether a team was at home and they were a big favourite, so the had odds of less than 2.1, i.e. if you put a bet of £1 on, you'd win £1.10 back, plus your bet of £1, whether heavy favourites or away heavy favourites, 2.1 the other way. And then, as I said in last time's video, I now have my score prediction based on the odds using the Hollywood Bet odds, which are on the Superbru website, in order to predict the results. So here are my predictions for round 25 for January the 1st. So the first result I'm going to predict is Plymouth Argyle versus Bristol City. Now we can see from the form guide, Plymouth are doing terribly at the moment under Wayne Rooney. God knows how long he's got it left in the job, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. And Bristol are doing very well. So the odds predict this as well. They predict a massive away win. However, on the odds system I've got here, 2.1 or less for the away team. I know you wouldn't think this, but at the moment the statistics say that it will be a 0-0 draw. So I'm going to predict it. It's a bit like the Leeds result yesterday. I'm sure Bristol must go on to win that one, but you never know at football, and Plymouth are much better at home as well. The next one I'll go to then is QPR versus Watford. These two teams are pretty equal, I think. Watford are obviously higher in the table, but QPR have been on a good run lately. Although, actually, having said that, they did draw the last one and lost the one before, but they've been doing a lot better recently than at the start of the season. However, I'm going to go with the odds, and the odds say a home win is 2.48. So there's no clear favourite here. So it's going to be, sticking to the system, 1-0. Next one is Millwall versus Oxford. So for this, Millwall have been doing not very well recently, looking at the form guide. And Oxford have won the last two in a row. However, the odds are saying that Millwall at home, they are a heavy favourite. So we're going to do this system. So it's going to be 2-0 win to Millwall. Let's see if Oxford can beat the odds on that one. Next up is Burnley, home. And unsurprisingly, regardless of who they're playing, apart from maybe Leeds and Sheffield United, they're a heavy favourite to win, 1.5. You don't get much more favourite than that. So we're going to go with a 2-0 to Burnley. Next up is Cardiff City versus Coventry. Now, obviously, Cardiff have been doing terribly over the course of the season. However, they did get that surprise win last week in round 24. However, the odds are favouring Coventry, which is probably unsurprising. So we've got an away slight favourite. So we're going to go. At the moment, like I said, I am going to tweak these predictions a little bit of what I'll predict as more results come in, and I can try and get the model a little bit more accurate. But as it is at the moment, I'm going to go for 1-1. Leeds, a little bit like Burnley, when they're at home, they're always going to be heavy favourites. So even though they're playing Blackburn, who have been doing well during the season, but actually lately on the form guide, as you can see, they've lost. But we're going to go with a 2-0 Leeds. Luton versus Norwich. Both sides with middling results lately. They've both been doing okay, but not absolutely amazingly. And the odds say this as well. So if I go home above 2.41, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Plymouth versus Swansea. Swansea have been doing very well lately, and got a good result as well in the last round, where they beat Luton Town 2-1. We've had 2 wins on a row as well. So, to be honest with you, my prediction is going to be away between 2.11 and 2.4. So that's going to be a 1-1. And I quite like that prediction. I think Swansea winning 3 on the bounce is going to be tough for them. Portsmouth are pretty good at home as well. So quite glad about the system on that one. Now, Sheffield Wednesday, which is my team. Well, it looks like we're a heavy favourite against Derby County. We did beat Derby County last time we played them, which was only recently. But Derby Derby looked pretty good, actually. I'm not 100% sure about this prediction, but we've got a home heavy favourites. So we're going to go for a 2-0, and I really hope that one comes in. So next up is West Brom versus Preston North End. Again, West Brom have been doing pretty well during the course of the season. However, as we can see in the form guide, Preston have won the last 2 in a row, including beating Wednesday the other day. But West Brom heavy favourites at home, so 2-0. So next up, Hull City versus Middlesbrough. And the odds say just 2.1. So again, this one could be a bit dubious, I think, here for a heavy favourite for the away team. But my prediction is that it will be a draw anyway. So we're going to go with a 1-1. And the next one, the last one to come up, Sunderland versus Sheffield United. And again, the odds, I mean, ultimately, the reason why I'm trying this system is that I think, ultimately the betting companies must know what they're doing. So you must, in order to have the predictions, you would imagine if you would go by the odds and you've looked at the past results of what the scorelines tend to be, then they tend to pick the results. And so we've got here Sunderland versus Sheffield United. And now the odds are saying that Sunderland are the favourite. I mean, they are at home, obviously. I mean, that makes a big difference. But it's not a heavy favourite, though, for Sunderland. So we're going to go for slight favourites for Sunderland at home, therefore 1-0. And that would be a nice result to come in if it does. Okay, so I've now locked in all my results, as you can see at the top here. And so we can have a quick look at how other people are predicting their scores. So my 0-0 for Plymouth Bristol is very much against what other people are saying. So it'd be nice if that one came in terms of me moving up the league standings a little bit. Again, not many people have picked the draw for QPR Watford. Most people here picking either a home win or a away win. Millwall, my pick is pretty much on trend there, with most people predicting a Millwall win. Not many people going for Oxford. I guess Oxford's away record isn't great. Burnley Stoke, my prediction there is very much on trend, with 96% of people predicting a Burnley home win. Cardiff Coventry, again, my result isn't what most people are picking. 62% of people have picked Coventry to win, so that'd be a nice one to come in if I can get a draw there. Leeds Blackburn, unsurprisingly, 84% of people predicting a home win. A draw is pretty much on trend, actually. Most people just slightly going for Luton there, 37%. 1-1 here for Plymouth Swansea. Most people are predicting a Swansea win. They have been playing well recently, so again, that might not be too surprising, especially with Portsmouth down at the bottom of the league. I think that's swaying people, but the home team is always does a lot better than you'd often predict. It's difficult to go away. Wednesday here, that's nice to see that people are predicting a Wednesday win here. So 83% saying a Wednesday win. Again, West Brom are heavy favourites. Most people going for West Brom. My Middlesbrough Hull pick here, though. Most people are going for Middlesbrough, which isn't really surprising. So let's just hope that the system works on that one and I get the result in there. And lastly, yeah, it's quite even, really. Most people are going for United. But yeah, again, I'm going with the 22% who have picked Sunderland. So let's see how that goes. So lastly, I'd just like to say, please mention in the comments what your predictions are for the week. Do they differ from mine? Are they similar to the other people who are betting on Superbru? Just let me know, and I'll see you for round 26. Thanks.